If I were to make a list of the worst things that Joe Biden has done, this would not even make the top 100. In fact, I don't think it'd make the list because I don't even care. I don't know why anybody cares, but apparently, even some Democrats are claiming that Joe Biden has set a bad precedent for Donald Trump, pause for laughter, by pardoning his son Hunter. So I'm going to get to some of the absolutely insane reaction to this. First, I want to be clear. I don't care about the right wing's reaction to this because, of course, they're going to freak out. I'll get to one example in a second of how ridiculous and hypocritical they all are. Who cares about their opinion? But what I find more bizarre is the reaction from media that is not far right and Biden supporters. So at least some of them. First, to be clear about what happened here. So Biden has indeed pardoned his son, issuing a statement on Sunday saying he's granting his son a full and unconditional pardon for all acts between January 1st, 2014 and December 1st, 2024. Quote, no reasonable person who looks at the facts of Hunter's cases can reach any other conclusion than Hunter was singled out only because he is my son, and that is wrong. He had previously said he would not grant a pardon or commutation to Hunter, who, in addition to his gun conviction, had also pleaded guilty to felony tax charges. Now, look, if your opinion is that Biden shouldn't have done this, okay, fine, whatever. But if you think that Biden is setting a bad precedent here, I got some news for you. It's possible you were born, in 2021 and somehow you're on YouTube watching political videos. But if you weren't and you were paying any attention at all to Donald Trump, or you could argue even before Donald Trump, there is no precedent setting here. Now, as I said, some of the right-wing reaction is just hilarious. Dinesh D'Souza went out on Twitter saying, quote, a fake quote from Biden here, I suppose. No one is above the law except my son, Hunter. Dinesh D'Souza was pardoned by Trump. You can't make this shit up. Relishing in hypocrisy is a requirement to be a Trump supporter. It's necessary, at least one that is public on Twitter. So I don't care about opinions from people like Dinesh D'Souza. What I find more bizarre, or maybe not bizarre, but disturbing. CNN's reaction here: Biden's pardon of his son pours fuel on Trump's claims of politicized justice. Trump's claims. Framing a story in this way is media malpractice. Why are we even pretending that Trump isn't the one that has been known for breaking norms, been known for doing these kinds of pardons? Writing this kind of headline and a story like this it's absolutely disgusting. So this headline from Washington Post from 2020, Trump wields pardon power as political weapon, rewarding loyalists and undermining prosecutors. It's not like Trump's pardons were hidden from the public. This was well discussed. Everyone knows it. Why are people pretending now to have amnesia? So some of the pardons here are just wild to remember. And look, you can be forgiven to forget this stuff because look, there's been so much for Trump, so many scandals that you could argue, supersede these kinds of pardons. But regardless, all of this happened. So from 2017 to 2019, the pardons included former Arizona Sheriff Joe Arpaio, former Navy sailor Christian Saucier, who was convicted of taking classified photographs of classified areas inside a submarine, Scooter Libby, a political aide to former Vice President Dick Cheney, conservative commentator Dinesh D'Souza. He pardoned or reversed the sentences of 3 American soldiers convicted or accused of war crimes in Afghanistan and or Iraq. In November and December 2020, Trump pardoned 4 Blackwater guards convicted of killing Iraqi civilians in the 2007 Nister Square massacre, white-collar criminals Michael Milken and Bernard Kerik, and daughter Ivanka's father-in-law, Charles Kushner. Kushner. I don't know why I'm saying that wrong. Kushner. He also pardoned 5 people convicted as a result of investigations into Russian interference in the 2016 presidential elections: Michael Flynn, George Papadopoulos, Alex Van der Zwaan, Roger Stone, whose 40-month sentence for lying to Congress, witness tampering, and obstruction he had already commuted in July, and Paul Manafort. In his last full day in office, Trump granted 143 pardons and commutations, including to his former chief strategist, Steve Bannon, Trump fundraiser, Elliot Brody, and former Republican congressmen Rick Renzi, Robert Hayes, and Randall Duke Cunningham. He also commuted the sentences of dozens of people, including former Detroit Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick and sports gambler Billy Waters. The latter had also paid tens of thousands of dollars to former Trump attorney John M. Dow to plead his case with Trump. There is so much here. Yet some are claiming that this has set a bad precedent. Trump apparently has now pardoned a majority of Republican congressmen convicted of felonies in the 21st century. That's how corrupt this man is. Now, as I said earlier, you could argue it wasn't Trump setting the precedent here. It was set by Gerald Ford pardoning Nixon. So Marshall H. Tannick made that case in the Minnesota Reformer. But this is where we get some of the reactions from Democrats. Media collected a lot of this in their story here. Biden supporters slam Hunter Biden pardon decision. Utter BS. So one of the more insane reactions is from Jared Polis. This is a governor, the Democratic governor of Colorado, writing here. This is a bad precedent that could be abused by later presidents and will sadly tarnish his reputation. I don't know how anybody could think this. In fact, I don't even think he thinks this. I think he's writing this simply to try and appeal to a right-wing base. That's it. And you could argue a lot of these reactions are just that. Charlie Sykes, who follows me on Twitter, I wonder if he saw my tweet, writes here, smart person texts me saying Joe Biden has just removed the issue of pardons from the political arena. Oh, Joe Biden just removed the issue. Yes, it was never touched on before. No one before him did anything about this. He did it with this one pardon for the next 4 years, and Trump probably once again can't believe his own dumb effing luck at this point. Yeah, Trump was like, you know what? I really want to pardon my allies. I so badly want to do it, but Joe Biden, if only Joe Biden will pardon Hunter, and then I'll be given the ability to break with norms. Oh, thank goodness. Hunter is pardoned by Biden. I can now pardon my own allies. Are you out of your goddamn mind? Chris Cillizza, who is a commentator, used to work for CNN for a while, writing a colossally selfish decision that will allow every Trump supporter to note that Democrats say one thing and do another. Oh, yes. We all know the right only fairly criticizes Democrats. They only wait till the facts come out. Then they lob their criticisms. Yanni Applebaum here, also of The Atlantic. I think I didn't mention earlier. Charlie Sykes, contributor to MSNBC and The Atlantic. Yanni Applebaum here, writing, this is a quote from Jonathan Chait of The Atlantic, writing, on the pardon decision, like his stubborn insistence on running for a second term he couldn't win, which I'll agree with this. That's true. Biden chose to prioritize his own feelings over the defense of his country. Why would this signal that? There are so many real issues to be angry about Biden over. I mean, the top of the list is clear when it comes to his allegiance with the far right government of Israel and their mass atrocities, and continuing again and again to giving them excuses, always defending them, never doing anything to actually try and limit the mass atrocities. Yet this is what offends you. This is somehow setting some kind of precedent. It's wild. Joe Walsh here, who is a former Republican turned Democrat, but still a conservative Democrat, writing, this is utter BS, just plain wrong and stupidly selfish. Shame on you, Joe Biden. You've given Trump license. You've given Trump license to now to dole out favors to his family and wealthy friends. Oh, he wasn't doing it before, but he's going to do it now because of Joe Biden. And when he does, you've given his supporters the opportunity to say, everyone does it. And by the way, Biden, you lied. Good God. Nate Silver, another clown, writing, I discussed here how I voted for Harris despite feeling like Democrats indulged in a lot of bad behavior. Are you kidding me? That voters were rational to publish. After the White House lying about the Hunter pardon, I'm not sure how much more I could tolerate. Don't vote for any Democrat in 2028 who doesn't repudiate the pardon within 48 hours. Well, good thing Nate Silver has been consistent on this. When Trump pardoned Joe Arpaio, he was so pissed off that he wrote, Trump's Arpaio pardon is completely precedented. Lots of modern presidents have used and abused their pardon power. Pardoning Arpaio isn't likely to be popular, but Trump's so unpopular already it might not hurt his numbers much. He was incensed back then about the Arpaio pardon. Just the complete lack of consistency. Credit here to Spicy1812. And also, yeah. So someone else, Diva here, or Deva, went through searching Nate Silver's tweets. Nothing about the Manafort pardon. Nothing about the Steve Bannon pardon. Nothing about the Roger Stone pardon. Nothing about the Michael Flynn pardon. Where was the anger for that? Let me end on Kyle Klinsky here, writing, Hunter should absolutely go to prison for taking $2 billion from Saudi Arabia and giving them classified information, as well as protecting them during their genocide on Yemen. Oh, wait, that was Jared Kushner. Well, look, again, you may think, hey, it's not going to help Biden's legacy. I personally think, first of all, who cares about legacy? Second of all, I think there are much bigger issues about Biden's legacy than simply that, than simply a pardon on Hunter. But you could still think, hey, he shouldn't do it. It's his son, even though I do think his son was targeted, even though I think if it wasn't his son, there's no way Hunter Biden would have faced the charges he faced. And again, the other thing worth mentioning there, the people that Trump was pardoning were actively like defending him or not releasing information during investigations. They were helping him in some way or were part of his administration. Hunter Biden's charges had nothing to do with Joe Biden at all. They were like a gun charge and stuff that was completely separate from him. It's not like Hunter was defending Biden in court or, was refusing to release information or something. Had nothing at all to do with Biden. So Trump pardoning people that were close to him, that were defending him, that helped him personally, I think is clearly much worse. And he did a lot more of it, obviously, as you saw, than Joe Biden has done. But even if you think, regardless of all of that, Biden shouldn't have done that, okay, fine, that's your opinion, whatever, that's your opinion. But to think that Biden is setting a precedent by doing this is just completely ahistorical.